is good with you? Great to see you, Tony.
I know, same here. Nice to meet you virtually in person.
Yes, yes. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I'm live here with Tony Hickman Presents. You know
Yes.
what
Yes.
I'm saying? Awesome, awesome. Well, how has your day been so far? How's the day been treating you?
It's been wonderful. I have no complaints. It's been really good. Productive. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Productive in what way you would say you've been getting things done? You've been expanding your mind. How has it been most productive today?
Today I would say a little bit of both. I got some time to myself, but also I was able to get some work done. And so, all of that is equally important for me. Yeah.
Definitely, you got that fire in you. You a fellow Leo.
Yes,
We both
exactly.
we both Leos. So
Yes. You said that's your rising. What's your sun?
my son, guess what my son is?
Uh, wow. I would say Pisces.
Pisces. Ooh, well, you got it on the water side. Why Pisces?
I don't know, because that's my rising sign, so that was my first thought. But if it's
Awesome.
not Pisces, then Scorpio?
Very good. Very perceptive.
Interesting.
Very
Interesting.
Is it?
Wow. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Scorpios are cool people. So,
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you think so. Some
mm-hmm.
people don't think so. So we kind of get a bad rap sometimes, but we're changing that. We're changing
Right.
that.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining, Tony. I appreciate you. And I've been checking out your videos. I've been checking out the positive energy that you've been projecting on all of your platforms. And I just wanted to, move with you and groove with you in this conversation and really just get a sense about who you are, what you're about, your passion, your purpose, and what you would say the path that you're on today.
It's definitely different from 20 years ago to 10 years ago. So yeah, I've definitely, I guess, gained levels in my life. Life has taught me so many lessons, and I'm an only child of my mother, but I've also been on my own since I was 15 years old. So I ended up learning a lot in the streets and, basically my environment. And
When
from there, go ahead.
from there, what?
No, I was saying, and from there, uh, it just started elevating.
Okay.
I just kept going, and I'm still going. I'm not where I'm destined to be, but if I'm destined to be here, then that's what it is, right? Yeah.
I love that. Still going, still growing.
Yeah, exactly.
Still
Exactly.
going. And Tony, when you say that the streets, what streets do you mean specifically? Because I love how you say y'all. We say y'all where I'm from in South Carolina. You like, I love y'all.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Oh, she from the New Orleans. She from New Orleans. Okay. Louisiana.
Yeah, well, I was
Louisiana, the
born
good
in New
food.
York. I was
Okay.
born in New York, raised in New Orleans.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Wow, the 504.
Yes,
The
indeed. And if you
504.
know about New Orleans 504, it can get really gritty, So yeah.
Wow, home of the po' boy.
Yeah. Exactly. Them hot sausage sandwiches, okay?
Oh man, the what was it? The beignets or
Yes,
the
that too.
boudin,
Boudin,
the big. Woo!
Yakamane, all
Yeah.
of that.
Oh my God. Oh
Yes.
man, to be on a liquid and fasting journey, even doing some of those things in New Orleans, that's a feat in itself. You
Well,
know?
I don't live there anymore. I'm in
Okay.
Houston, Texas now. Yeah,
Okay.
I left New Orleans over 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
left New Orleans. I moved to New York to
Okay.
get a record deal,
Mhm.
and then moved to Houston because I got signed with my record deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to Atlanta because the company moved to Atlanta. So I stayed there, and then I came here.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much.
Wow. What a journey. And you got the Emmy in 2021.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Man, how did it feel?
It felt good. It felt, you know what's crazy? Like it didn't really hit me all at once. Like when I got it, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I'm grateful. And I still felt like, well, that's not it. You know, like I was so grateful that I got it, and my all of my work was being finally acknowledged.
Yeah.
But I just inner work, I still feel like I have so much more that I have to give to the world and to myself. And so yeah.
Yeah. You know, I really feel you when you say that, and I felt you when you said that in your videos as well. If you would like, you know, can you touch on the feeling when you got the message from the nurse? You said there was a nurse that told you you're supposed to be here.
Yeah. Well, briefly, for everybody watching, I had 2 brain aneurysms and a stroke. And so my first aneurysm was in 2004. And I was fine after they did surgery. Like they went through my groin area, and they said they put a clamp on my head. And so in 2007, I was doing my music. I was on covers. I was like I was in magazines. I wasn't in covers, but I was in magazines. And so in 2007, I had completed another music project, and I went to New Orleans to celebrate. And while I was out there, I was with my ex at the time, and his mother had made me some vegetarian fried rice. And after I ate it, I started getting sick, and I was throwing up, and that was one of my symptoms from my first brain aneurysm. And so as I'm throwing up, I'm like, there's no way I'm having another brain aneurysm. Like, who does that happen to? You know, like, so that I just thought I had food poisoning. But I did have second brain aneurysm, and that one actually burst in my head. So if you know about brain aneurysms, you know that people will die from one when they burst. And so, yeah, they rushed me to the hospital, and while they were cutting my head open, I also had a stroke on the table. Now, I never had high blood pressure, none of that. Like, and I don't now. But my body went into shock when they started cutting my head. And yeah, so when I woke up, I was paralyzed. I couldn't speak. And the doctors told my mom that I may never speak or walk again. And so she needs to consider putting me in a nursing home. And my mother was like, absolutely not. And so she told them to put me in rehabilitation. And I mean, it was a lot of trial and error, but that's where I ran into the nurse. And I really wish I remembered her name, but she did tell me, because I was having a pity party for myself. I'm just like, who's going to want me now? Who wants a rapper that's in a wheelchair? Because at that time I was in a wheelchair. Like, who wants a rapper that's in a wheelchair? You know, how is that helping me? And I was just having this pity party, and she came in and she said, why are you crying? And I told her, and I'm like, I'm mad at God. I'm mad at everybody. Like, you know, this isn't cool. This isn't fair. And she was just like, she said, well, instead of you being mad at God, you need to ask God why you had 2 brain aneurysms and a stroke and you survived. And though I got the message, I was still in my energy of let me be in my pity party, right? Because my eyes were black and I had a bald head from the shave. Like, I was just going through mental disorder for real. But yeah, when she told me that, out of all the messages I received in the hospital, that was the most profound. And I have watched my life since I got out of the hospital just gradually adjust to that purpose, my purpose. And I'm still learning it. I'm still following it, but I'm learning it, you know, and even the way that I'm on now is still a part of that purpose, because as much as I needed to do outer work and finish my goal with my voice that they said I never have, I also needed to do inner work on myself and figure out why I felt the need to look a certain way or be a certain way, or, you know, and that's an ever-going process, especially in today's society. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Really, yeah. Thank you for, you know, just sharing that, and thank you for just taking us back to that moment. Because I can only imagine, like, I don't know too much about brain aneurysms. I don't know too much about the symptoms, the things that happen. But that intensive rehabilitation, how long were you in rehab?
3 months.
3 months.
I was in that rehab 3 months, and then my insurance ran out for that rehab. But then they transferred me because I was in-house. I was living in the rehab center.
Right.
But they transferred me to back to Atlanta, where I was living, and I went to the Shepherd Center. If anybody is familiar with that, I went to the Shepherd Center, and they helped me tremendously. I ended up being in their magazine as well. Like, yeah, they really helped me a lot. But even when I got out of there, because at some point the insurance companies tell you that you've plateaued, which really means also that your insurance is not going to pay for this anymore. And so then your therapy is on your own. So even there, I had to, after I left that therapy center, I got into the YMCA and I went crazy, you know, and I just worked on myself. And I still deal with my partial paralysis. And a lot of times I think it's up here more than here. I got so used to walking because, like how you walk right now, right? Or anybody watching, when you're walking, you walk your normal, right? That's your normal. And so I had to get out of a wheelchair and walk and make myself walk. But at that time, my left side was stronger than my right side. And so I put more of my emphasis on my left. And so now I know that if I build the right muscles in the right side, that I can get it back. But I also have to get over the mental change of getting used to a walk that I had for so long, and I made it my own. You know?
Yeah.
So it's a journey. All of this is a journey.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. And everybody, it's like we take it for granted. You know, everyone has a walk that is their own. You know, just like everyone has a talk, everyone has a voice that is their own. And even the, you know, things can be mimicked, but not quite imitated to that level where it's, you know, identical. So it is your own. So you were saying you had to adjust to that. And also your voice. So they said that you may never speak again. Is that what you were saying?
Yes. And for a while, my voice came back, but it didn't come back like ready for recording or whatever. It was just, it was almost like I had a raspiness in it. So yeah, it took time for my voice to come back.
Okay. During that period of time where when your voice was gone, you know, and I mean, our voice is just so, you know, we're really attached to our voice.
Yes.
So how can you recall how you felt when your voice was gone?
And see, it's crazy because while I was still concerned about my voice, I was also concerned with the rest of my body.
Right.
And so even though it bothered me, I had the whole thing to focus on. It
Yeah.
wasn't just that, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so I'm thinking about my career and what I'm
Everything.
doing and what's my next steps. And because again, I've been on my own since I was 15. And
Right.
so independence was like really important to me. And yeah, so that part was, it was challenging. It
Yeah.
was very challenging.
And you know, I know you said you can't really recall the doctor's name, the nurse's name, but what do you feel was like a very key factor in your rehabilitation? What played a key role in you kind of coming back to yourself?
At the Shepherd Center, when they told me I plateaued, because at that time I didn't take it as, oh, my insurance is not paying anymore. Plateaued means your body done gave up. You like you just, your muscles are not moving anymore. When they shouldn't really tell patients that, they shouldn't tell anybody that has partial paralysis or anything like that that they've plateaued, because fortunately I do have that fire in me, and so I developed that I'll be damned attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I'm gonna go crazy in the gym, and I did. They ended up putting me on the wall at the YMCA because I was so adamant about healing myself.
Wow.
And yeah, so
Wow. So it lit a fire within you, you know? It lit a
absolutely,
fire in you. You reversed
yeah.
it. You said, no, this is
You
not
can't.
going
You
to be
you are not the one to predict my destiny,
right.
and I'm not gonna allow that.
Right. Right. Wow. You know, Tony, I recall you said something powerful in one of your videos. The video was called From Enjoyment to Addiction. And you said, aren't you the master of your constitution? I
Right.
said, I said, come on, somebody. I was like, church is in the house. I said, oh my
Right.
goodness. You were like, aren't you the master? You know, aren't you a creator? Aren't you the master of your constitution? And it lit a fire in me just listening to your words. You know?
Wow. I received that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
That's
truly
awesome.
embodied that. You embodied that. You became the master.
I feel like I don't have a choice, but again, that's been a part of my life. That's been a part of my journey. And even looking at it now, I just look at like even the path that I've been given as an only child that has kind of been on her own. At first I looked at it as heavy, but the reality is it came to help me build who I am becoming. And I'm still becoming. I make a lot of mistakes, and I don't hide that from anybody. I don't want anybody putting me on a pedestal because I constantly make mistakes. And then I look at myself and I analyze myself and I say, yep, that was wrong. Okay, don't go that route. Fix it, you know? And so, yeah, I think self-correction is also something that many of us can ignore. But if we were to do more self-correction, a lot of our world would not be in the chaotic state that it's in, you know?
If we would work on ourselves more.
Yeah. Even when we point the fingers and talk about other people, like, look at yourself. What are you doing within yourself to fix you? What's wrong with you? Because everybody has some inner stuff that they got to deal with, no matter what facade is on the outside.
Right.
So how do we fix that? Because when we fix that, that's when we truly evolve.
Right. Right. Like you said, I heard you say before, you know, even deep traumas, you know, things within us that have happened that we haven't really dealt with, that we're afraid to face, you know, that
Exactly.
we have fear surrounding. There's a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched one of your videos too. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but I saw you were also raised as a Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So by my mother. So I'm an only child as well. And
Interesting.
so raised by a single mother, when I was with her, we were in the Seventh-day Adventist church. When I was with my dad, we would go to church on Sundays. So it
Okay.
was just kind of like a mixture of that. And,
Right.
you know, I always used to wish that I had siblings. I always used to wish that I had somebody coming up, because there was a period of time where I kind of felt lonely. But then I became thankful for it later on, because it felt like I had an advantage to where now I can be alone without being lonely. Now I'm actually content. You know, it became a
And you
strength.
enjoy your solitude.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, you know, there's so many things that we can touch on. One of them is in that video I was talking about that you made recently. It was about a couple days ago, from enjoyment to addiction. You touched on some really solid, you know, you dropped some gems on us when it came to, you said enjoyment, addiction, and then suffering.
Yeah.
Suffering. And then how you turned it, and you said that we make the choice to suffer, that nothing makes us suffer, that we choose to suffer.
Right.
Could you break that down for us?
Well, really, basically, just like I said in the video, you know, you can have your favorite thing no matter what that thing is, but we get addicted to the concept of that thing, and then we get addicted to the memory, and then that memory of that thing causes our suffering, and causes our suffering even in our body. You know, just like people get addicted to cigarettes. First, they just may like it. They like the way the smoke may feel, I guess, out of their lungs. But then that same smoke damages the lungs. Or even furthermore, let me take it further, because blood pressure medication, the body gets addicted even if we don't understand that we're addicted to it or not, right? So when people take blood pressure medication and they're taking it every day, if you try and wean somebody off of blood pressure medication, their body goes into something called rebound hypertension. And what the body is doing is, since you have decided to pull that medicine that it got used to taking every single day, that medicine starts attacking your body, because it's saying, you need to give me my medicine. Your body is saying, you need to give me the medicine, or I'm gonna make your blood pressure go sky high. So when you try, and I've learned this through trial and error as a therapist, but when you try to take somebody off of medication, the body rejects it, because the body has made a habit, an addiction to this medicine. And then that medicine starts causing your suffering. So, yeah.
Wow. And you made a lot of comparisons too, you know. You were talking about, Tony, how you can become, you know, first you get that first sensation, and how they say, you know, almost like how Sade's saying, it's never as good as the
Never
first
as
time.
good as the first time. Exactly. I wanted to bust out singing her on that video. Look. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, once you get that first taste, you open the door to a new sensation. Now it's hard to close it, you know, and it can sometimes lead you to want to get that again and want to get that again. And you even said that there was one of your friends or someone that you knew that talked about, you know,
Coke.
doing coke, yeah, and how there was nothing that compared to it, or
right.
you know, having an orgasm and then chasing that feeling, and then
exactly
how it just leads and leads and leads
to addiction.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All of it leads to addiction, but we can still enjoy, and I'm still in the process, because most of humanity is addicted to food, like of some kind. We're addicted to chewing. We're addicted to some form of food. And so even acknowledging that, mastering even the addiction to food is still something that I think many of us need to work on. Like, you know, most humans need to work on mastering the addiction to food.
So having a level of mastery.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like that you say, and it's very deliberate, you didn't say love, you said we get addicted to the concept of love. Why was that intentional when you said that, our concept of what love is? Because everybody seems to have a different concept of what they believe it is.
Yeah, but what is it really, right?
Right.
So, especially the Leo brain, and I always say, look, all my Alika lessons be from me, but the average brain, like, we'll meet somebody we like, or we end up falling in love, or quote unquote thinking that that whole concept is what it is. But really, it's still on those thoughts, built on those thoughts that we've already programmed in our mind of who we think that person is in our life. And we slowly find out the reality is we still have to learn the person that is right in front of our face versus the illusion that we have created in our head.
Right.
And most of us create illusions in our head of the people that we want to date, we want to marry, we want to love, all of that. And our illusions are constantly broken through our perception, you know. So
yeah. Wow. You know, and it gets deep because, like people say, perception can often be reality for most people.
yeah.
So when it comes to the programming, what has been one of the programs this year that you feel that you have deprogrammed or reprogrammed or uninstalled or installed in a new way for yourself that you look at differently now?
And I would say this is still an ongoing process, but really mastering my own destiny. Okay. Right? Because I've done it to a degree. But now I'm learning about my own inner power and my own way of manifesting and making things happen in my life, and how I need to control my thought process in order to make better things happen in my life. Right. And so that's been ongoing, but it's been better as the years coming. Also, I will tell you, like 2019, I did all raw vegan, 100% raw vegan, right? So then the following year, I went to fruitarian, and I did probably like 80% fruitarian. But then I started messing with cooked food because I had some situations, and I'm not blaming those situations because that makes me build my character. But my mother had to move in with me, and so that changed when it's a bunch of cooked food right in my face, right? And so it's kind of changed the perspective. Now, I've always been a vegan because, well, not always, but practiced the vegetarian lifestyle, vegan, you know, and I probably ate fish and stuff like that every now and then. But it's been probably 15 years since I ate any poultry or anything like that. But so when she moved in, I got tested, and you know, and so but then I realized, even after doing the fruitarian, it was cool. And so now this year I have done more liquids than anything, and even now I'm on liquids. And you got my coconut water right here.
Yeah.
But even now I'm on liquids, but I've done mainly liquids this year, like almost, I would say I did 40 days, then I stopped for 2 weeks, then I do, 10 days, and I stop, and then I go back and do 20 days. Like, it's been like that. So I'm still working on that mastery as well, even beyond being tempted by the food that is in my house. Because now I've gotten to the point where I can prepare my mother's food. I do all of that, and I don't want it. Yeah.
Wow. 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 You know, this is definitely a journey. You're right, Tony. This is all a learning. It's all a practice. You know, it's all a continual process and a continual progression, because when I started to like get down on myself about where I thought I could be or where I thought I should be, or if circumstances were different where I thought I would be, when I shed all that and let all that go, I was able to go higher because I let go of the weight that was holding me down, you know, and that was a
Mm.
lot of mental weight, you know, a lot
Mental,
of mental,
exactly.
yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know, what you say is real. Like when we're around family members, the energy of our loved ones, the energy of people that we've come up with, and the energy of the people that, you know, they mean well, they mean the best for us, that can definitely affect and rub off on us. Even the judgment, you know, of what people don't really understand your journey, or when they don't really know what you're doing, coming from folks like, you know, my dad, or even my family here in California, who they think I'm crazy. You know, I'm really the black sheep out here. They're like, you know, when they have a cookout or when it's 4th of July or whatever, like, boy, you better eat this meat. You know, boy, you better
Right.
eat this chicken. You better eat
Right.
this. You know, and they're looking at me crazy, like, you know, you crazy. So it's just interesting to see that dynamic and to be able to, you know, move and maneuver through it with compassion, with empathy, but also, you know, letting go of that judgment. And I really just, you know, I commend you. I commend you because it's not the easiest thing to do when you don't see that around you. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I get that. You know, I must say, like, I respect everybody's journey.
Right.
Because it's my journey led me here,
Mhm.
right? And still, so I'm still in a growing point, and
Right.
I trust that process. And so I recently had somebody who gave me an excuse, and I don't believe in excuses. I don't. I will tell you yes or no, but I don't believe in excuses. I think that you either can or you can't, or you just not right. And so when somebody told me recently, they was like, "Oh, you know, you're too hard on yourself." Right? And I'm gonna do a video on this, but human beings need to be hard on themselves. And the reality is, like, look, we got out of our parents, and we are out here rebelling. We're still rebelling against ourselves because there is nobody else to rebel against. So now our health has become the side effect of our rebellion.
Mm.
You know. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think we need to be hard on myself. So even when I'm hard on myself, I accept that, because when I'm hard on myself, it allows me not to make mistakes.
Okay. Okay. I love it. You know, one of my mentors, she calls it the carrot and the stick method. You know, she's got the carrot, like the reward, but then she's got the stick, you know, being hard on herself, you know, cracking the
Right.
whip, and just having that sense of discipline. And I feel like
Exactly.
that's you. You have that discipline. You're able to, you know, not be controlled by it. And so when it comes to going more and more liquid, even coming from like being in the fruit and then going to the liquids, what did you feel that had an effect or an impact on your manifestation and also on your mind, the way that you were thinking?
Repeat that again. Let me take
So,
that in.
yes, of course. So when you moved more into the liquid, you know, less and less levels of consumption, or lighter levels of consumption, how did you see changes on the things that you manifested? And also, how did you see changes on the mental level, the things that started to happen differently for you mentally?
Um, I saw more manifestation work in inside.
Okay.
I saw a lot more things revealing itself to me inside. As far as my outer world, see, and it's this is my catch 22. I'm always doing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
always. And so sometimes I'm not able to see the whole picture of how stuff is falling because I also work on making it happen. But sometimes I don't. And like there's been several times when I haven't. And then stuff will come out the blue because we could put all the work in we want, but sometimes we have to pull back and trust the universe to allow. And that's been my downfall. Well, I'm not going to say my downfall, my lesson. Because again, like I said, I've been on my own since 15. And so that lesson of surviving and making sure things happen has been the journey for me, you know? And so allowing things to come in is like kind of hard. It has been hard, but that's the thing I was telling you that I am working on. That's
Yeah.
the lesson this year that I really know I have to kind of allow.
Yeah, I resonate. You know, that's been my task as well. One of my friends told me that that spirit of allowing, that spirit of receiving, you know, that's kind of like the divine feminine, you know, being in the feminine or that yin energy, the yin
Yeah.
to the yang. And like
Right.
the yang is more masculine, the, you know, that direction, that manifestation, action, doing things, you know, Leo, fire, getting things done. Like as a Leo,
Yes.
well, you know, as that fire, while everybody else is out there talking about it, while everybody is out there thinking about it,
Right.
you're out there doing it.
Right. Right.
You know, you're making it happen.
Right.
So I always like enjoy, you know, interacting with fire signs because y'all are powerful manifestors. You know, if you put your mind to it, you put your grind to it. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. You are so right. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So also, I saw that you're a medicine woman. How do you work with the medicine? I'd love to learn.
Well, Seventh Day Adventist Church, my mother was the medicine woman of the church. Like the people would come to her. Everybody in the church in New Orleans knew to come to my mom when they had an ailment. And she has done miraculous stuff. And so I learned first from her. And then like and so after I had my second aneurysm, I got my certification to be a holistic naturopath. And so so I do work with herbs. I do holistic consultations with health. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I do. But I also always say I'm still learning because even though I do it, I know the basics for all the main issues, but you know, it's still things I don't ever want to think I know everything. Like, yeah, I don't ever want to think I know everything, but I probably know more than a lot, but not with something. Yeah. I'm a student of life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, I loved it. I loved it. Like, you know, that's one of the things that really inspires me and really excites me about learning is that there is no end. You know,
Not at
there's
all.
no end point. Like
No.
one of my favorite quotations from Bruce Lee, he talks about how there are no limits. Like there are only plateaus, and we don't have to stay there. We can keep going beyond them. And
Exactly.
when people see a master, you know, the master is the master because they're always a student. You
Right.
know, they're always in class. They're always learning. They've never
Right.
stopped.
Right.
So
I
I
heard
love
you
that.
say something on one of your videos. And it was so inspirational to me, but I don't remember how the exact quote is. But you said basically you never know how far you can go until you go too far. But you didn't say too far, but
Right, right.
say for me.
He's my friend. He told me, and this was Lamb, Legend Already Made. Shout out to Lamb. We came up in the program together in college, and he said, only one who is willing to go too far will find out how far one can go. You know,
Yeah.
only one who is willing to go far will find out how far one can go.
Yeah.
Like you get there by going. And that's, that's what the Oracle told Neo in the Matrix. The only way to get there is to get there.
Right.
He was asking a lot of questions, and there's nothing wrong with questions. I feel like questions are the answer. We should be asking questions.
Absolutely.
But as well, the Oracle was telling him, the only way to get there is to get there.
Yeah.
It's through experience. So there's some things that we learn through the school of hard knocks. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ah, this is so nourishing.
I know, right? I enjoy it. Yeah, definitely.
Oh my goodness. So, did you say something?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's something else I saw, Tony. It was a child of Esu. Can you pronounce that?
Eshu.
Eshu. What
Yes.
is that from? Where's that?
Are you familiar with Ifa?
Am I familiar with?
Ifa.
No.
So Ifa is a African spiritual tradition.
Okay.
And so basically, it is it's a just like. Are you familiar with Santeria? Or I know you're familiar with Hindu.
Yes.
Okay, and so or Hinduism. So many cultures have those traditions, and different deities apply to that tradition. So there are deities that are in Hinduism that may have the same similarities that are in Ifa. So through an Ifa priest, I had that, and I'm a part of Ifa too, but I had a reading that my head is Eshu. And so the head is basically who is helping govern your space, not governing it, but helping govern and teaching you lessons. The spirit that walks with you. And so Eshu is the spirit that walks with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Wow.
Eshu, he's known. Honestly, in Christianity, he's known, and some Christians know this isn't true, but some don't. But they have labeled him as the devil. But in some religions, he's known as who would be Jesus.
Right. Right. Because I just the other day, this is so synchronistic. So just the other day, Tony, I was on the street, I was walking, usually I just walk around, and I seen a man, and I gave him some money, and when I gave him some money, he looked at me in my eyes and he said, Eshu bless you.
Wow.
He said, Eshu bless you. I didn't even ask him what he meant. I just, I heard bless you, and so I thanked him and kept walking, but in my mind it kept replaying like Eshu, like what was that? I didn't know what it was, and now here it is.
Wow, that's amazing. That just gave me chills. Wow.
That was the first time I ever heard somebody say that. And he said it with conviction, like he knew what he was saying. Eshu bless you. So you're saying some people see that as Jesus. Let's see if the connection came. Divine being. Oh, we may grab her again. She may come back real quick. Oh man, this conversation's been so nourishing. Been loving this. Much love. Oh, here she is. She's back. Awesome. In no time, she a Leo through and through. She know what it do. Eshu, bless you. All right.
Hey, I was like, dang, that was a hell of a way to end the conversation.
Oh no, the energy was high. You said I got
Yes,
chills. Yeah.
yes, yes. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I learn from everything. So even though I am a part of EFI and EFI is a part of me, I still learn from, like, I'm still learning from different traditions, different spiritual practices. And what's crazy is this lady I met, she had some books and we just started talking. And she said, I've never met somebody where I wanted to give these books to, and it ended up being 24 books. They're called the Zohar. Are you familiar with that?
No, no.
Oh my goodness. When I tell you it's 24, it's like volumes. It's like encyclopedias, volumes of books. And it's from the Jewish tradition, but it's written in Hebrew, and it's their metaphysical practices.
Okay.
It's amazing. So I'm learning that now. Like,
Wow.
I'm a sponge, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes deep.
Yeah,
It
it
goes
does.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, Tony. You know, even being a sponge, like we can absorb, we can soak it in, but then we also wring it out. You know, we share it. You
And
know?
I'm working on that. Yep.
Yeah.
Working on wringing out the good and the stuff that sticks, that needs to come out and it's not so good, you
Right.
know? So,
Right. Right. We're wringing it out. That's what it's about.
yeah.
That's what it's
Yes.
about. My goodness. So, you know, before we go, I'd love to hear more about the projects, the things that you have coming up on the horizon that you're really excited for. Can you talk to us about Telepathy, August 5th? Can you talk to us about Tony Hickman Presents? You know, just the aspirations for the future here.
Okay. So, first of all, I am in a rap group called The Cure. And actually, we wanted to name it The Cure, like The Cure, because we came out around the same time the vax came out. And so, but anyway, we ended up being THAKUR. And we have a song that is coming out called Telepathy, which is like one of my favorite songs off of our album. And so it is coming out August 5th. And I'm excited about it. We shot it in New Orleans, French Quarters. Like,
Nice.
it's really nice. Shot by Angel Wing Films. Yeah, it came out so dope. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right there on the French Quarter.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah.
And then with
And and then for Tony Hickman Presents, you know,
yeah.
this started with you, right?
No way.
It started with, yeah, it really started with you. I was inspired by you. Yeah, but yeah, with Tony Hickman Presents, I'm actually doing um a presentation with different people that inspire me. So my first guest is Ela Tom, which I never thought I would be able to get him, because you were like my first person that I was saying, oh, I want to speak on this subject, because I'm intrigued by breatharianism. I'm intrigued by uh, liquidarian, even the path and the spiritual practices that bring, you know, with that. And so
So Ellie Tom, you're gonna be talking
yeah,
with Ellie. So that's gonna be a
yeah.
collaboration. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm doing Ellie Time first, and then there's a woman that actually has, a lot of people don't know this, but it started in Texas. But there was a time when you had to go to school to break out in
To
the
what?
cosmic to cosmetology school in order to do our hair or African hair in the shop, and which is over $20,000. And so the next interview after him is Isis Brandy, and she is responsible for making it legal that you don't have to have a license in order to do natural hair in the state of Texas, but also it's expanded to other states now because of her. So she's the next one after that. And then, yeah, and so hopefully, you know, I'm getting Jerome Shaw in there too, y'all. So yeah, I guess after he makes his miraculous trip to Italy, congrats on that.
Thank you
That
so
is
much.
so now that's a manifestation, definitely. Yeah.
It's a blessing. You know.
Yeah,
It's a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time. So I'm
it's
very thankful.
beautiful thing. Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful thing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have a couple of stories that I'm gonna be doing on Tony Hill presents on IG Live.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm still working on my own project. Well, I have 2 books that I'm working on. And so one of the books I should have been done with, and I'm still like making the finishing touches on it. And then I have my Alika Lessons book that'll probably be coming out next year.
Yes. Yes. Because I seen that the logo Alika Lessons. Whenever you have their videos on YouTube, I've seen that as well.
Alika Lessons. Yeah. And Alika is my middle name. It means beautiful warrior, but it's also just the lessons that life has taught me, is teaching me, or I'm still grasping. But you know, I'm hoping that by me being able to share, other people can grasp it and not have to go through the walk that I did. Yeah.
Wow, Alika, would you know, I had a last question, but you might have just answered it. I wanted to ask, you know, after all those things that you came from, after all the trial and error, after knowing that you're here for a reason, what would that reason be? And you might have just answered it right there.
My reason would definitely be, one second. Give me a second, please. Yeah, I'm coming. Okay. All right. I have a household. But yeah, the lesson would be, I still have to work on me and learning from my own actions. And I would say that's the lesson for everybody. Like, we need to do more inner work. We need to work on focusing within, fixing within. So, yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you for all these insights. Thank you for the gems. Thank you for just coming from the heart. Like you said, I love y'all. I love y'all.
And I really be meaning it. Like, I really do. It's so much that pours out, and I hope that y'all receive it. So
we do receive. Much love. Looking forward to Telepathy August 5th. Looking forward to
I will be plugging it.
Looking forward to, you know, your continued growth, your continued success, your continued manifestation. You know, on this journey. Much love.
I appreciate you.
All right. Take care. Awesome. Beautiful, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. What a wonderful conversation, Miss Toni Hickman. Thank you for joining us. Beautiful warrior, Alika Lessons. We need these lessons. Much love. Take care.